A land shrouded in woods, where beneath the veil lies an alternate reality, where everything has a soul or spirit. A land where once the world tree touched the sky, where not everything is plain to see. A place of ancient myths, where the Creator's offspring came down from the stars of the Great Bear, descending in the shape of an animal, to give up his body and his power. A totem for a sparse people's clan, destined to die at human hands. Old songs tell of a sacred union, how hunter and hunted became one. Beneath the veil, earth energy, tree vitality lets itself be felt today by those that will, workers with another awareness. A land where memories are kept alive in glades and copses. A land where pines and ancestors inhabit the woods. Where wise men watch in feathered form. Still today the trees bear potent symbols. Old Bruin, the man in the fur coat, Honey Paws, his true name so awful it could not be spoken. The king of the forest. Among the branches, he waits to tread the golden path to the heavens. Lift the veil. Share the mysteries reveal. In this land of myth and mystery, traditions from an older, almost forgotten way of life survive beneath the surface. Finland's southernmost point is equivalent in latitude to Anchorage in Alaska. It's the end of April. Spring is coming. Taisto is more than a fisherman. The former woodcutter is an amateur weatherman. Whooper swans, Finland's national bird, are returning from their winter haunts in Denmark and England. He's after a special fish, a kind of bony perch.
Nyt tullo. Tuli kun aikansa auttaa.
Taisto is examining the fish's dorsal fin. He reads the color of the fin to make his forecast.
Tämä alaku on tässä ihan kirkasta. Se on tämmöistä hyvää ilmaa. Vähän sattaa vettä. Kelle jakso tullut tuossa puolivälissä. On kuuma. Tulipaloja tulloo, ukkosta tulloo ja tuul.
As above, so below. Where temperatures drop to minus 30 degrees Celsius, survival is not easy. Finns are masters of the art of paying close attention to nature and deciphering its hidden signs. Their magically transforming world is a land of water and woods. Woodland shrouds more than 2/3 of the country. Nearly 190,000 lakes cover much of the rest. The Finns think of themselves as a race apart, neither Scandinavian nor Russian. In the middle of the country in Kainu are people who still keep ancient ways alive. Finnish forests are managed and have been since time immemorial. A woodman is stripping the bark off a 30-year-old pine tree. To protect itself, the pine trunk weeps resin. A layer will continue to build up for the next 5 years. Then it will be heated. The age-old process produces ash and a strong-smelling oily fluid. Tar. From the 16th century, Finland exported tar all over Europe. It proved an excellent preservative for ropes and wooden ships. It was in great and profitable demand by other countries' navies. Forests are Finland's greatest renewable resource. 75 million cubic meters are grown a year. Nonetheless, wildlife still finds a home here, including the animal the Finns call the king of the forest, the bear. Female bears normally have 2 or 3 cubs at a time. The young stay with their mother for the first few years. The greatest natural danger the cubs face is another of their own kind, an adult male. A grown male will attack and kill cubs even if they are his own. Mothers, on the other hand, will do everything they can to protect their cubs. Finns regard bears with affection and admiration. The presence of bears in the wild is a sign that the forest is in good health. And there are other creatures whose presence actively benefits the land. From spring to summer, vast numbers of migrating birds fly in from southern Europe and Africa. Even wading birds lay their eggs right in the middle of farm pastures. Curlews thrive here. 50,000 pairs choose Finland to breed. Oyster catchers here are undeterred by human activity. The villagers are getting ready for plowing. The plowman comes armed with wooden sticks. Farmers can't afford to be sentimental. They have to be practical. He carefully marks the location of each bird's nest for a purpose. It isn't just a love of nature that motivates these farmers. In this area, until 30 years ago, they applied chemical fertilizers and pesticides. In those days, farmers didn't hesitate to destroy any nests on their land. However, as a result, insects and rats multiplied. New kinds of pests caused havoc to crops. Since then, farmers have ceased to rely on pesticides. Instead, they leave the nests alone. The birds catch the unwanted insects and rats. Farmers here have learned from experience that working in harmony with nature can produce better results. Finns welcome wildlife to their homes as well as their fields. They know there are benefits on both sides. Take this old tree next to a farmhouse. It's a 120-year-old birch. Finns love birch trees for their firewood and the smell of the sweet sap. But this one conceals something more besides. Hidden in the hollow of this birch are creatures whose parents have returned each year for decades. Tawny owl chicks, born one after another, of different weights and sizes. The parent birds live in the woods, but during the breeding season they return to the birch, planted by the farmer's grandfather. The mother is bringing back food for the young. In a bad year for prey, not all survive, only the largest. In just 3 or 4 weeks, the chicks will be flying. The farmer is only too happy to have owls catching rats and voles on his land. Olli Klemola takes great pleasure in watching the chicks grow.
Mä oon aina pölleistä pitänyt ja sitten kun tähän tuli ensimmäinen pöllö, niin se vähän niin kuin sydän meinasi pysähtyä, että kun varmistin, että se pesii siinä, niin sitten mä menin tuonne maastoon tuohon tämän puun lähelle ja olin yöt sieltä ja kuuntelin ja varmistelin, että se on aina kaikki hyvin.
As well as raising crops, Olli manages a forest of some 80 hectares. His ancestors planted the trees here over many generations. Where he can, he carries on their traditions. His is the kind of forest that used to grow here, a mix of broadleaf species such as the birch with Nordic pines and spruces. Each tree has different uses. Birch for firewood and handcrafts, pines for tar and resin, spruce for building material. Olli is looking for just the right tree to make a flagpole. For the last 5 years, he has had his eye on a particular spruce. A special order demands a special ritual. As he approaches the tree, Olli slowly circles it 3 times. Before the first cut, he embraces it. Finally, he taps the trunk gently with his axe. In folklore, this lets the tree spirit know that a woodman is about to fell the tree. Forewarned, the tree spirit can leave to seek a new home. Judging by its rings, this spruce is about 70 years old. Now it can begin a new life elsewhere. In rural Finland, the bond between people and forest has grown deeper over the ages. Some trees carry mysterious engravings. The pine tree bears the initials of an ancestor and the dates of his or her birth and death. These are the special memorials called karsikko. It was Tauno Laitinen's son who engraved his father's details. 34 years later, he carved his 85-year-old mother Milma's dates on the same trunk.
Ja viimeisin puu on tämä, mikä on minun vanhuksille tehtynä. Kato. No, kato, se on valmiiksi katsottuna jo seuraavan mänty, kun minä sitten tästä ajasta lähden poispäin, niin nuoremmat sukupolvet tekee ne merkinnät niin kuin tähän asti. Muuta kuin sanotaan vain, että se on se vanhuuden muistikuva siinä, ja ne on meille arvokkaita puita noin ikään, koska ne on säilytettynä ja tullaan säilyttämään.
Local custom determines the choice of tree, in line between the graveyard and the dead person's home. Finns choose pines for remembrance because these are regarded as sacred. Pines are felt to be spiritual, their essence unusually vital. Of all trees, they represent the life force in the forest. Death and life, inseparable in Finnish woods. At the owl's nest in Olli's garden, the male owl flies in with a dead mouse. All the chicks are thriving. Luckily, their father can catch as many as 20 mice in a night. Olli is glad to have the birds protecting his land and harvest. The largest chick is stubbornly curious. From the safety of the tree, the 3-week-old surveys the outside world. It's mid-June. Inside, Olli looks out on his neighbors.
Pöllö on vähän tällainen aavemainen ja saavuttamaton. Pöllö edustaa sitä kontaktia oikeastaan sinne näkymättömään maailmaan, että se on niin kuin lähellä näkymätöntä maailmaa. Pimeässä välttämättä ei näy mitään, kun pöllö lentää ja pöllö viisauden ja puhtaan maailman lintu.
The longest day of the year. Up towards the Arctic Circle, the days last 22 hours. The Finns celebrate the summer solstice in a way that again demonstrates their feeling for nature. They decorate the entrance to their houses with birch trees. The foliage is at its most luxuriant at this time of year. More green leaves arrive. Rowan for the windows. Every family shares the joy of summer. Alders carpet the floor. They fill the living space with their vitality. The Finns celebrate the Birch Festival every bit as enthusiastically as Christmas. They even decorate the saunas with birches. To a Finn, a sauna is not just a garden shed. It is the equivalent of the tea ceremony to the Japanese, cleansing and refreshing. The first thing they build isn't a new house, but the sauna. Until the middle of the last century, women gave birth in saunas. Newborn babies were given their first bath there, the dead their last. Legend has it that an invisible presence called Tontu inhabits the sauna.
Ei tonttu ole paikalla vielä. Laskeutuu vasta alas, kun lämpöä tulee. Ei näin kylmässä voi puhua semmoista asioista. Kun se lämpiää, niin sitä voi puhua.
Most Finns have saunas, even in the suburbs. Tontu is just one of many spirit guardians in Finnish folklore. If it shows itself, it's supposed to appear as a small elf-like creature with a white beard.
täällä saavat aina. Mutta sekin meni nyt nurkkaan, niin tuli. Täällä se on jo muu henkeä. Tää on ihan tästä yli.
In Finland, sitting in a sauna with friends is an enjoyable aspect of everyday life. Finns respect centuries-old practices that link them to another realm, invisible to the naked eye. And they admire those who move in a world where we are blind. Back at the farmhouse, the 4-week-old fledglings are peeking out of the hollow. It's time for them to make their first flights. In a world full of spirits, one is always present. July, and the birds have flown to other forests. It's the height of summer in the north. Overhead, the sun welcomes children into the forest. It's an adult-free zone, off-limits to grown-ups. The youngsters construct shelters from branches and leaves. The children are sometimes allowed to camp overnight like their ancestors. Even their playthings hark back to older beliefs.
Joku peikko tai sitten joku ihan epäsikiö ihminen. Mä tiedän, että se tuli aika outo. Hiiri.
Ja tuli takajalka.
Ja kädet tässä. Häntäkin. Hiirikuningatar.
Nordic tales of fairies and trolls echo down the ages by word of mouth. The great woodlands are a natural setting for stories about magical beings, elves, gnomes, and ogres. Stories that gave birth to the characters of Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. Chilling. Even in August, temperatures sometimes drop below freezing. Summer is fleeting in northern lands. A voice soon rings out. Freely translated, the refrain goes like this.
Kolkates tätä kumua heliätä heijakkoa.
The words of a traditional hunting song. They mark the beginning of the hunting season. In Finland, hunting is another example of an activity where more is going on than appears on the surface.
Tapionpa tietä myöten Tapion talojen kautta.
The worthiest opponent is the brown bear.
Ja Tapio.
In him is gathered all the vigor and richness of the woods. In ancient times, people believed bears descended from the constellation of the Great Bear, bringing the gift of meat. The king of the forest offers the hunter the chance to engage in an age-old contest.
Ja terve hali ja haapa.
Kauko Niskanen is a master bear hunter. For a few weeks in the autumn, a small number of bears can legally be culled. Kauko is patrolling the woods near his home. He has a good idea a bear is near. He searches in the older parts of the wood. The height of the anthill tells him this area dates back about a century. Kauko admires his quarry for his wisdom and bravery. Like many Finns of both sexes, he feels a strong sense of kinship with bears and sees them in his dreams. A schoolteacher by profession, Kauko grew up on the land. Even today, he grows his own vegetables. He feels an almost spiritual reverence for nature. He began learning to hunt as a teenager. Kauko is now in his 50s, but in his whole life, he has only tracked and killed 8 bears. The schoolteacher in him can't resist a lesson.
Suomessa sanotaan, että mitä isommat potut on sen tyhmempi isäntä tai pöljempi isäntä.
His hunting partner is specially trained and bred to track bears. The dog is so eager to hunt, he has to be kept on a leash to prevent him running off after them. He may look soft, but Karelian bear dogs are fearless when they come face to face with a bear. To prepare for his own encounter with the king of the forest, Kauko spends a night in the woods. He approaches it like a solemn ritual. The smell of fire and smoke will disguise the scent of his body and clothes. No food passes his lips, only liquids. He meditates on his trial to come.
Se ukko Jumala Tapio, tai mikä se metsää luontoa sitten isännöikään, niin en mä koe olevani niin kuin sen parempi metästäjä eikä ihminen kukaan muukaan. Mutta ehkä niin kuin mä sanon, että se niin kuin hakenut sitä, että minkä takia niin se luontosuhteen, että se on hyvin niin kuin nöyrä ja sieltä joskus saa jotakin, jos annetaan. Ei sitä väkisellä saa mitään.
Bear hunting in Finland was not just a means of obtaining meat. It was a way to capture the bear's essential strength and vitality. And on a deeper level, hunters played their role in recreating a resurrection story. When they overcame a bear, like the mythical first bear, the offspring of the Creator, it suffered death, rose again, and ascended into heaven. Folk songs celebrate the way the hunter acquires the traits of a vanquished bear.
Astun jalan, astun toiseen, astunpa kohta kolmannenkin. Alle kuulun kurkihiireen, päälle pinnatun petäjän. Ohtoseni, lintuseni, mesikämmen kaunoiseni. Kuin sie tulit meidän maille, kuin sie tulit meidän maille. Meidän miessä ollaksesi, meidän miessä ja hyvänä. Otan nenän oholtani, vainun tuntemattomaksi. Otan silmän oholtani, silmän näkemättömäksi. Otan korvan oholtani, korvan kuolemattomaksi.
Pääsit karhuja kaivaaseen. Pääsit karhuja.
In the past, elaborate ceremonies accompanied the return of the carcass. Feasts were held in its honor. Men reenacted the hunt in dance. The bear's fur coat had pride of place. Villagers begged the bear's forgiveness. By eating the body at a communal meal, those present shared the bear's strength and courage. Finally, the bear's skull was hung facing the beams of the rising sun, so its spirit could take the golden path back to the heavens. all over Finland, there are large trees whose name still evokes those former days. They are called bear skull pines. The practice was common till a century ago, but even today, Finns treasure their secret kinship with the bear. Two weeks later, a grateful Kauko returns to make a gesture of respect. Our lives are at the expense of others. Kauko is conscious of the cost of the bear's sacrifice. He is determined it won't go unrewarded.
Ihan hyvältä. Sää karhun palautettua taivaaseen. Karhu on vaikea metsästettävä, että se on sillä tavalla haasteellinen metästettävää. Se, että onko se tappaminenhan se tietenkin se elämän lopettaminen on olemassa, mutta se, että onko se sitten, jos se on kerran karhu laskeutunut tänne maanpallolle, ja se palautetaan takaisin taivaaseen. Ja meidän itse kukin kiertokulu jonkinnäköinen tämmöinen olemassa. Ja ehkä se sitä kuvaa en niin kuin koe olevani sen suurempi tappaja kuin kukaan muukaan. Ja eikä kukaan muukaan ole tappaja. Näissä metästysasioissa, että sitä korjataan sitä uusiutuvaa luonnonvaraa. Ja
To the Finns' forefathers, the mere name of the king of the forest was so terrible, so awe-striking, it could not be spoken aloud. Day to night, summer to winter, life to death, all bound together, like hunter and hunted. The lyrics of a traditional song express that bond between pursuer and pursued.
Heitän kuuta katsomaan. tietä myöten. Kultaista kujoa myöten, hopeaista tietä myöten.
It's winter. The sun makes only a brief appearance for a handful of hours. After the winter solstice, little by little the days draw longer. At the end of the winter, the adult owls come back to the birch tree. Their chicks have flown to other Finnish forests to begin the cycle anew. And their hosts, Olli and his wife, are conscious too of time's wheel turning.
Vaikka siis sitä kovaa pakkastalvea mä en koskaan niin halua, mutta että se tuo sen muutoksen siihen ja sitten alkaa jo niin kuin taas uusi odotus, että päästään sinne kevääseen.
Soon once more, the old birch tree will bear new life. Finns and their forests. Each sustains, protects, and renews the other. A race conscious of the value of living in harmony with wild things. People and the past kept alive by nature. Where even in death, families are united forever. With each other and with their universe.